slip away. Just now, the corpse of the mutated giant bird crashed down with a loud bang, engulfed in flames, landing among the mutated creatures below. At the moment, the commander had no time to collect the special serum, but his energy points were instantly credited. A total of 55 energy points were filled in an instant. The commander had previously 3D printed a missile, costing 20 energy points, which had caused his energy points to drop rapidly, leaving him with only 2. Now, with this round of replenishment, his energy points surged to 57, allowing him to launch 2 more missiles. The commander was thrilled. With his advanced technology battleship, he could even sustain his battles through combat. This was something no one else could compare to. Others, no matter how much ammunition they carried, could not match the commander's ability to replenish energy points at any moment. As long as he had a continuous supply of energy points, he could keep firing. Just moments ago, after exhausting his ammunition in combat, he had killed a mutated giant bird and was immediately rearmed. From the initial level 0 battleship to the current level 2 battleship, the commander finally had some combat capability and superiority. If the level 2 battleship was already like this, what about the future level 3 battleship requiring 900 energy points to upgrade? The commander was filled with anticipation. He believed that although 900 energy points were a lot, that day would not be far off. The level 2 battleship he piloted shot up like a black lightning bolt. Behind him, the enormous mutated giant bird was in hot pursuit, its body glowing with a bright crimson light, launching a fiery attack. It was frantic, its howls piercing the air. However, being a biological entity, the commander accelerated vertically and quickly outpaced it, creating a distance of over 100 meters. Faced with the fiery attack, the commander easily dodged it. At the same time, the commander had already called upon the system, consuming 20 energy points to refill a missile, which was ready for launch. He still had 37 energy points left. Besides the one he just printed, he could print another. With 2 missiles, the commander was confident that it would be enough to send the last mutated giant bird to its end. The world below was burning at the edge, and the anti-gravity engine indicated it had exceeded its operational range and went offline. At this moment, the commander relied on the thrusters to soar upwards, speeding into the sky. However, the level 2 battleship was still a low-altitude aircraft. Its size was too small, and with so many functions compressed together, each function was somewhat limited. The current level 2 battleship could only reach a maximum altitude of about 1,000 meters. Now, the commander prepared to enter the low to mid-cloud layer. Using the clouds for cover, looking back at the moon, and planning to take down the relentless mutated giant bird pursuing him. As he ascended, the thermal radar showed that the dense red dots gradually decreased, leaving only one red dot behind, desperately chasing him. It was the mutated giant bird, now completely frantic, pursuing him recklessly. During the chase, the commander took a glance at his battleship's energy status. The level 2 battleship consumed a significant amount of energy, far beyond the previous levels of 0 and 1 battleships. Especially in this flight mode, it consumes energy rapidly. At this moment, the energy in the capital ship has been more than half depleted, leaving only about half a tank. Following this, the capital ship directly entered the low to mid-level cloud layers. It was a dim night, with thick clouds covering the sky. The low cloud layer refers to clouds below 2,000 meters. At this moment, the capital ship reached nearly 1,000 meters in altitude, just piercing through the clouds. The surrounding visibility instantly narrowed. The howling of the mutated giant bird could be heard behind, but its pursuit speed suddenly slowed. It was just a creature, and in such a concealed environment, it would undoubtedly be affected, unable to lock onto the capital ship as easily as it could in open space before. It howled and chased outside the cloud layer, occasionally shooting a line of fire that pierced through the clouds, briefly illuminating the darkness. It couldn't see the capital ship, but the capital ship could see it. The infrared thermal radar scanned the surroundings, and the red dot representing the mutated giant bird was clear and accurate. Even though the capital ship couldn't find the mutated giant bird in its line of sight, it had already determined its location. The mutated giant bird, having lost its kin and gone mad, had long since lost its sanity. It howled and chased beneath the clouds, attacking wildly, completely unaware that the capital ship had silently arrived above its cloud mass and boldly fired a shot. The missile pierced through the clouds and directly hit the target. A large explosion erupted in the sky, blood splattering wildly. Within the flames, the mutated giant bird didn't even make a sound before being blown to pieces, its massive body falling helplessly towards the dim ground below. The system prompt immediately sounded. By killing this mutated giant bird, the capital ship once again gained 55 energy points. The energy points of the capital ship reached 92. After a fierce battle, having consumed 3 missiles, the capital ship still had nearly 100 energy points left. Watching the body of the mutated giant bird plummet, the capital ship let out a long sigh of relief. For the past 2 days, being hunted by these 2 monsters had left the capital ship feeling uneasy, fearing that at any moment, they might spring out from nowhere and take it down unexpectedly. But now, all of that was finally over. Its second-level battleship had successfully countered. These two mutated giant birds indeed had the audacity to challenge. Being capable of flight and even breathing fire, their strength formidable. They were the most powerful mutated creatures the capital ship had encountered along its journey, aside from the giant trees in the coastal city. Now, these two arrogant and terrifying mutated creatures had been completely defeated by the capital ship. Revenge had been served. Next, it was time to find an opportunity to collect their special serum. The capital ship had already been injected with the serum, so further injections from the mutated giant birds would be meaningless. The capital ship contemplated. Perhaps it could give one injection each to Zhang Chao and Su Xinghai. However, just then, the system suddenly emitted a sound. Dear host, special high-energy biological entity detected. Successful hunt expected to yield special serum and 300 energy points. Upon hearing this system prompt, the capital ship was initially taken aback, then suddenly shocked. At this moment, he was at an altitude of 1 kilometer, surrounded by empty clouds. Where could a special high-energy creature come from? Moreover, 300 energy points. What kind of terrifying creature could that be? Over this period, Wang Cheng had also figured out how much energy points a high-energy creature was worth, which only related to its strength and power. The stronger the creature, the more energy points it provided. By this calculation, the two mutated giant birds were only worth 55 energy points. What kind of horrifying existence could a high-energy creature worth 300 energy points be? However, what sent chills down Wang Cheng's spine was that since the system had already given a warning, it meant that this high-energy creature was right beside him. Yet, his battleship's thermal radar showed complete silence, with no targets detected in the vicinity. There were no signs of any warm-blooded creatures. So, where was this special high-energy creature? Chapter 59. Who saw that fighter jet? Below, the city was ablaze, and from 1 kilometer high, everything about the city seemed so small, chaotic, and dangerous. Up high in the clouds, it was eerily silent, as if the city below belonged to two different worlds. Wang Cheng's battleship was shrouded in clouds, with low visibility. He squinted, trying to see what was outside, but no one saw anything. Everything seemed normal, just as his thermal radar indicated. There appeared to be nothing moving around him apart from himself. But the system's warning couldn't be wrong. A chill crept up his back. Wang Cheng didn't know, but he realized he couldn't stay here any longer. Regardless of what else might be up in the sky, he had to leave immediately to avoid danger. Therefore, he quickly turned the battleship around, preparing to descend and collect the corpses of the two mutated giant birds to obtain the serum. However, it was fortunate that Wang Cheng was still in a stationary position at high altitude. The moment he started to move, he was suddenly attacked. Warning: the battleship has encountered an unknown impact. The alarm blared almost instantly. Wang Cheng felt as if he had been struck by an elephant. The battleship tilted sharply to one side. Before he could react, a heavy pressure suddenly descended from above. The opponent seemed immensely large, possessing unimaginable power. After just 2 impacts, the battleship's alarms informed Wang Cheng that the hull was damaged and the outer deck had cracked. Wang Cheng was horrified. The excitement of just having killed the mutated giant birds dissipated in an instant. Even now, after being attacked, he couldn't locate the creature that had struck him, and the battleship's infrared thermal radar showed no signs of detection. From the 2 impacts, it was clear that the system had indeed not made a mistake, and the entity that had collided with his battleship was immensely huge and powerful. Otherwise, how could such significant damage have occurred with just 2 hits? Given the strength of his battleship, Wang Cheng didn't know. He was desperately descending in height, panic bubbling within him. The special serum, worth 300 energy points, was incredibly tempting, but also immensely dangerous. Haicheng University, the mutated giant tree over there can yield 1,000 energy points, and that is a level 5 mutation. This one can provide 300 energy points, at least a level 3 or even 4 mutated creature. The most critical issue is that its traces cannot be captured by the main city. It is invisible, untraceable, and its nature is unknown. Facing it would be akin to seeking one's own demise. The main city has not reached the point of foolish overconfidence yet. However, as the main city continues to descend, that kind of impact has not reappeared. It seems that only at a certain height will one be attacked. A chill ran through Wang Cheng's heart. What exactly is up there in the sky? What could possibly be in the sky? Most of the creatures on Earth reside in land and ocean. Even birds, no matter how large, have limits to the heights they can reach in flight, as they are still living beings. Moreover, birds cannot fly endlessly in the sky. They must land to rest. Therefore, theoretically speaking, under this global mutation apocalypse, the sky should be the most open and safest place. But what could it be? He suddenly felt a chill. Aside from the initial outbreak of the apocalypse, he seemed to have never seen military aircraft appear in the skies over Haicheng. As powerful weapons in modern warfare,